3, 2, 1, laser beam. That, like, I am wearing the legendary, and that completely reset everything. It's got immolation aura going, and that's laser beam. Good day, ladies and gents. We are back in Battle for Azeroth, and we are on the hunt. We are indeed on the hunt for a new main character. For what are we going to play in Battle for Azeroth? And at the moment, I am very heavily leaning, surprisingly even to myself, towards the old Demon Hunter, which is one of the specs that, if you recall, during early Legion, Legion Alpha, I said, I like this spec. It's actually very hard to dislike the Demon Hunter. I think so. It appeals to so many people with just the sheer pace of the damn thing and the animations and the... it has a lot going for it. Let's put it that way. It has a hell of a lot going for it. That might be surprised to hear me say that, yeah, I'm thinking about going Demon Hunter. And one of the reasons why, which hopefully you'll see here, well, you might kind of see, is that the Demon Hunter is actually one of the specs that is least affected, that I found over the last few days, by the global cooldown change, which may or may not go through. But if that change does go through, it's something I have to consider because it feels terrible. It's the worst thing in the world. So, what is it? Because basically we only have Metamorphosis as a cooldown. If you play Demonic, obviously there's different builds that involve slightly more cooldowns, as with all classes, but that's pretty much what we're looking at. The changes that Blizzard proposes is a return to the old ways, whatever the fuck that means. A return to the old ways of not being able to stack cooldowns, essentially. Yep, if it'll work. You'll notice one problem here, which is definitely making it worse to assess the validity of all the global cooldown stuff, is the fact that we are playing on the US servers. And that means that you'll notice me often press things and nothing happens, which is infuriating, to say the least. But it is what it is, and we have to deal with that. But they're putting DPS cooldowns and kind of some odd spells back on the global cooldown. And if those of you who don't know what that is, essentially when you press a button, you'll notice all your spells spin. And that's the global cooldown. It's just saying, okay, you activate a spell, you can't activate another one instantly. Otherwise, everybody would be able to press all their spells immediately, right? And that wouldn't make any sense. That'd be really weird. But over the years, they took some spells off the global cooldown. They were like, okay, well, this doesn't fit. This is the interesting part about this, is they decided that doesn't really work. So we want to take that and move it off the global cooldown. Now, a couple of things they did. Interrupts were one of them, because that used to be really annoying. Apparently, there's a sand trap under there. Who knew? Interrupts were one of them, which were very annoying, because when you had to interrupt in PvE, in order to interrupt, you had to stop DPSing, because if the interrupt was a really fast one, then unfortunately, you know, you kind of had to just stop, which sucked. You kind of had to just stop doing damage and wait for the enemy to actually cast a spell to be interrupted. And we were all very thankful the day that went away. They were like, yeah, that sucks. And we were like, yeah, it does suck. You're right, Blizz. It does suck. It really sucks. So they got rid of that. And then over time, they added some DPS spells to it. And with good reason. With good reason. Most of us, if we have things that stack up, most of us who've learned that effective DPS comes from stacking as many things as possible, right? Like, that's no big secret to anybody. That's where it comes from. It comes from stacking as many things as possible on top of each other, and they all magnify and multiply on top of each other. So often what we were doing... was, in fact, using macros. So you would macro things like your DPS spell, and then you would macro on top of that a trinket, maybe, if you had an unused trinket, something like that. And then you would macro anything else you want to put in. So if you had a couple of cooldowns, so if you're a warrior, for example, you'd have something like Battle Cry or Bloodbath, and you'd stick them all together because you want them all to activate at the same time, so they're all getting the same benefits. And then other spells that you didn't want to work that way, well, that's when you could use them in a slightly different way, which is great. Let's stun all these. Now, Blizzard saw fit recently to make a change in Battle for Azeroth, which took that away. And it came with kind of a caveat or a warning. I'll link it down below for those of you who haven't seen it. Most people are aware of this change by now, but very few of you have actually been able to actually test it. And the caveat it came with was indeed, hey, you'll be used to this not being a thing. You'll be used to being able to like activate your cooldowns and go straight into your DPS rotation. That's not the case anymore. Give yourself some time to adjust to this before you give feedback, which is a fair comment. I think that's a pretty fair comment. It's like, yes, this is a drastic change. On the face of it, it sounds bad, right? So they're saying, like, just check it first, right? Don't just go, fuck you, Blizz! You fuck you! Can you just play with it a little bit first? And then we can take feedback, but don't just go, it's bad, without any sort of feedback whatsoever. That's no good to us. Which is a fair comment. And, well, I've had that time. I've had that time. I've tried out a couple of specs, actually. And I could give you accurate feedback, Blizz. It sucks. It's fucking horrible. It feels like 4 steps back. It feels really, really awful to the point where, as I'm doing right now, I am actively seeking out classes which aren't affected by it in any way, shape, or form. And looking for it. If I want to play Battle for Azeroth, which, as many people have pointed out, is actually looking less and less desirable by the day at the moment if you're interested in gameplay. If you're interested in cosmetics, Battle for Azeroth looks great. If you're interested in gameplay stuff, there's a lot of questionable changes. Not everybody, obviously. Some people like the idea that, effectively, Blizzard's trying to slow the game down. I don't think this is particularly fast at all, in my opinion, but I play a lot of video games, and, you know, I'm pretty good at them. I'm not great at them. Let's caveat that before the guy's going to say, you're not the best player I ever did see, Preach. You're not even, like, close. You're not even, like, top 10. I don't care. I play a lot of video games for work, so a lot of variety video games as well. Oh, I would love my Immolation Aura and Fell Barrage. And Chaos Stun would be really nice, but we're going to get a Fatty Eye Beam. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Laser Beam! That, like, I am wearing the Legendary, and that completely reset everything. That's awesome. That is awesome. It's got Immolation Aura going, and that's Laser Beam! Let's Fell Barrage all this. Don't tell me that didn't look fucking gorgeous! Because you know it did! Oh, you know it did! You know it looked good. I used Eye Beam too early, but well. I haven't played a lot of this. I am playing a very weird sort of mix-mash build. Playing without Fellblade sucks. Like, having Demon's Bite. I'm used to Demon's Bite on live. So for me, though, the global cooldown change is horrible. It's really horrible. On my 2 characters that I have, my, like, leveled characters that I've done so far, before actually sort of dedicating time to one. On the Alliance side, we have done a Frost Death Knight. Oh, well, a Death Knight. We've been playing all 3 specs, but mostly Frost. And on the Horde side, we've done a Warrior. Mainly because those of you who've been following my channel for a long time will probably know I really wish I could return to the Warrior. I wish it got the spark back in it that attracted me to it in the first place. But so far, niet happening, which is a real shame. So I leveled the Warrior on the Horde side. They're both really high level. But these characters, this one's like 112, I think. I've got various 111s that we've been playing. Until we get the Azerite armor, I'm not going too much further with it. But I am on the hunt. I want to, because a lot of people ask me, like, what looks great for Battle for Azeroth, right? What looks really good? And I want to give you an answer. I really do. But until we know what they're going to even remotely look like, that's a practical impossible question, right? Like, I can't predict the future, just like no one else can. And I could give you overviews of guides and stuff of what these classes look like, but it'd be a bit of a lie because it's not the finished products. Or maybe it is, but I'm not convinced they are. Or maybe it's just a part of me is hoping they're not. So, you know, we're waiting and seeing. Fell Barrage just seems to have... There's too much trash in here for me to fit Fell Barrage, and I'm just going to go for it. Because it's just too much damage not to be popping off with. It does so much goddamn damage. Are we going in circles? I'm sure I've been here before. It's a prison. It's very similar. A lot of this area looks pretty similar. I do enjoy it. I'm not going to lie. I have no intention of lying to you guys. Now, Warriors and DKs are particularly effective because they tend to set up quite a lot of things, right? They set up quite a lot of things. Frost DKs tend to set up for going against like Pillar of Frost or Remorseless Winter with other cooldowns and things like that. And... Alright, boys. Immolation Aura up. Not a big fan of Immolation Aura. I'm just playing around with it. You guys do it as well. Don't tell me if you've played a Demon Hunter when you got into I-Beam, you haven't thought to yourself, meh. Oh, that's the boss. Get the boss. Get the boss. Let's spell barrage these out of here. Oh, I should have interrupted the face. Someone else did. Good. Let's hide. Interrupt that for a big load of fury. This boss is awesome, by the way. I love this boss. Absolutely love it. So this boss is going to do one of the coolest things in any dungeon so far. This dungeon's really good. I like this dungeon a hell of a lot. It's got a lot of bugs in it, but that's okay. It's early days, so we can accept bugs in the early days. Right, he's going to stun us now, and then he runs through the dungeon, and he lets all the prisoners out and starts a riot. So he release prisoner, release prisoner. But what you can actually do is just follow him. Especially as the powerful DH. Very tempted to I-beam there. I'm going to save it. For now. Spell barrage all these. Boy, oh boy! Did you just get wreck-a-rude, my friend? Oh, I've got another walk it. Blur it. Get darkness down. Think it worked. There we go. Get out of here, buddy. Get out of here, buddy. So good. So good. Bahira. I doubt that's my boy badge. I doubt. He wouldn't know if it was me anyway because I'm on Sedalvia. This character's called Sedalvia. We used a random nade generator so people don't... I did play... my Disc Priest was actually called Preach. And instantly was recognised. I don't mind it, but I'm often recording. If I'm playing BFA, I'm often recording, right? So I might not reply all the time, and that feels rude. Is that like, am I going too over the top with my, like, I want to just do this. I'm trying to get this done here. So I've been on the hunt after that change was announced because there are a lot of aspects of BFA that look enjoyable. That look very enjoyable, but there are some that really don't. Really don't. And so I'm looking for the classes that don't seem to be as affected by it. Demon Hunter is one of them. Demon Hunter still feels, mostly with the specs I've tried, still feels extremely slick to play. Most of the time. And that's what I'm after. I'm looking for slick. I'm looking for smooth gameplay. And some people are comparing... So, with the global cooldown change, what you're finding with a lot of classes is it can take like 4.5 seconds to start doing damage while you're just activating the things to do damage with, and that's not for me, boys. I'm sorry, that's not for me. That feels like going back in time by you doing the big... This is a dangerous pull here. This might be a wipe. Okay, we're going to have to do big damage here. I'm gonna have to interrupt those. Nice, you got him. Good. I've got AoE stun. That handcuff ability that you're seeing, that's the bad one. Don't do it during I-beam. Don't do it during I-beam. Thank you very much. Let's put Immolation up. That one. Interrupt that one. I'm going to get stunned here. What handcuff does is it does a big stun. Spell barrage them. God, I wish I had some basic add-ons just to track what I'm doing. Would be nice. Wrong button. Fuck. Yeah, lost my fucking demonic. God damn it! I have I-beam on Q and Blade Dance on Shift Q, and as I said with the lag on the US realms, what often happens is I'll be pressing before the game is ready to let me press. Fuck! It's so frustrating because you're like, that's not what I want to do, game. I know what I want to do, and it's not this. That was a really nice pull. That was awesome to see. Good play. Like that. Like that. That was cool. That was a lot of fun. There's a lot of groups that would have wiped there. Easily. Easily wiped there. So I am playing around with a little bit of lag here, but we're going to keep an eye on this guy because he's the one who's going to stun people. And that one. Ooh, which one do we go for? Let's stun both. I've got AoE interrupt if I need it. There it is. God, but this is what I like. Like, all the gameplay, even with this lag. Even with this lag. You'll have to wait. I got it. You'll have to wait. I'm sorry, I mean, I-beam. I'll release it in a second, don't worry. Selfish, yeah, but it's not going to wipe the group or anything. So we're getting the cannon? Fuck you, dude. I'm here because I enjoy what I'm playing, so... So in a lot of classes where you're dealing with these mini cooldowns, it feels horrible. I've seen it compared on a number of forums, and I think clearly, I can't be sure, but it looks to me like people who haven't actually tried it. It's like winding up for the big hit, you know, like your Rocky Balboa or some shit. And you're setting up for this big smash, and it's all that more satisfying. It's really not in any way. What actually it is slow, clunky, tedious, all these words. Big wind up, it is not. There's no friendly fire anymore, by the way. You can just DPS in here. Yeah, they just say, oh, these guys probably think there's still friendly fire. Maybe they saw my video, but they have changed it. There's no friendly fire from the cannons anymore. Which is better. Friendly fire was a bit of a pain in the ass. Uh-oh. Hide.
Check your fire. I'm looking at you, Flamecaster. If any of these Azerite munitions explode, we'll all be done.
Oh! Took that one in the chin. I was getting a bit greedy there. I was trying to get all of them in. We can release and run back and I can talk a little bit better. Let's see here. Yeah. So... I'm not seeing any of this. I think people want it to feel like that, like you're winding up for the big hit and stuff. It's not. It's just really slow. That's all it feels like. It just feels very slow. And when you're seeing, like... There's a nice moment that happens if you PvE a hell of a lot. And it's when you, like, bloodlust and everyone pops up and you just go... Ah! And you just, like, go tunnel vision. And there are lots of fights that demand you do that at very specific times. And in order for that to happen is everybody has to manage their cooldowns in such a way so that... universally across the whole raid, they all come back at the same time. Even if you've all have cooldowns with different timers and whatever, that's irrelevant because you're waiting for this one moment when it has to come back and it has to work. And when that lines up, when it's actually time to go. See, let's look at something simple recently like Immonar, right? When Immonar, a lot of people bloodlust at different times, which is fine. And it's usually like when you get over the bridge, you'll be like, right, now we're bloodlusting, like this one. And you want to get into it. You're waiting for people to get over you're getting over the bridge, you're scrubbling. Some people get over first. That's great. That's fine. But when it's time to go, it's time to go. And if that's not happening, that sucks. It sucks so bad. That you're then, like, some people are popping off, some people aren't. Dispel, please. Dispel. This thing sucks. I've got leech on, so it's not that bad. Don't burn me. That's all I ask is don't burn me. There's this build up to get it going, and you're like, it's a very hypocritical thing that's happening because this is the point where you're supposed to be like going absolutely crazy, right? But instead, in some classes' cases, the more cooldowns your character has, the worse this is. You're not actually doing that. What you're actually doing is just preparing. And you might say it's 4.5 seconds, and this is the problem. We talked about this heavily on the web show. Is there are a lot of people who aren't very good at WoW. We all know that. And for those guys, it won't even make a difference. And in fact, some people really welcome this change quite openly, which is, you know, that's fine. I'm not going to fucking sit here and say that. In fact, I'm looking for something that gets around it, which I think is hopefully what Blizzard's intention is some classes that are more affected by it than others. it does block out a lot of characters because this is a universal change for the most part. There are certain classes who are exempt from this, by the way, like fire mages, for example. When you forget Bestial Wrath for the entire dungeon. Rip. That stun though? Popping. Oh, they're all spread. No, I got all three. Oh, it knocked me. It knocked me during I-beam. I think it still went off though. That's good. Oh, knocked me during the precious I-beam. Knocks me during the precious I-beam. There are some classes that are less effective. Demon Hunter is one of them. I feel like Demon Hunter is one of them. In fact, do you want me to CC that one? Because these things hurt a lot. No, he's breaking it. Let's see the tank's HP. Unless they've nerfed this, this is going to wreck our tank. Can we immolation on reach? There we go. So hopefully he's okay. Like I say, I'm pretty sure, we've seen this in a number of dungeons, and I mentioned this in the last TDP, is it does seem like the original versions we tested when these dungeons were live were kind of like the mythic versions. And these versions now seem more like the normal versions. Like, these should have destroyed this tank. I'm not exaggerating. These enemies, those two together, when this dungeon came out, which was only a couple of weeks ago, I think, were fucking murderous. Absolute murderers. They were like, okay, one shot, two shot, you're dead. That was it. It was fucking garbage. Oh, that was too far. Oh, we got left on math. 34 seconds. All right. $18 seconds till Meta, so we'll get another I-beam out and then we'll be good to go. Bum, 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 bum. Mr. Salmon. Oh, you gotta be careful of that, dude. Was that me again? What the fuck, man? I'm good here. No, we're not gonna get to use it otherwise. Let's go. How the hell did you get hit by this? The floor is so obvious, dude. Get out of here. So this is my thought process. Right now, Demon Hunter is definitely one that I feel has been far less impacted. In fact, this gameplay feels very smooth to me. Very, very smooth. And smooth gameplay, mwah, give it to me all day. Give it to me. That's what I want out of my WoW, man. I want smooth gameplay all day, but we will be having a competition soon, I think, to give away a lot of alpha keys. We've been Blizzard have been in contact. There is something coming up for that. And then maybe more of you need to get involved and then figure it out for yourselves and say whether you like it or not. That might help give more voice to the feedback, because right now that global cooldown change is really bad. I mean, it's killed several classes for me. And I'm hunting. I'm hunting as much as you guys are for something else. I can see myself playing a Demon Hunter and having quite a lot of fun with it. I might get bored of it, which is a real shame, but I certainly won't get bored of it as quickly as if I was playing a slow, drudgy class. I need some pace on it. So that's what I'm looking for. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you again. Bye-bye.